All right. We are here, ready to rock and roll. Let me make sure that this joint is on so we can get to it. Let me put the YouTube viewers up. Chat is up. Hopefully we get some folks in here. Yeah, so for those of you who follow the channel, I just dropped the video. 2K getting leaked by the college license company. It's crazy. Crazy to think, I know a lot of us wonder. Let me make sure. Let me let the Discord know. I was gonna say I know a lot of us wonder why there hasn't been any competition for 2K. You guys are about to find out in this live stream. If you haven't seen the video, I just uploaded. It's on my channel. Let me disable that. Let me let them know we're live. What up, PR Flow Grown? What's good, man? Pretty wild stuff, man. Pretty wild stuff. Hella interesting stuff. We're gonna be talking about a lot in this live stream. Salute to everybody who's tuning in. Reggie Noble, what up, man? Roll call. Let me know where you from, where you at. Uh Imagine with the success of College Football 25. Imagine for a second, College Football 25 was the #1 selling sports title, period. The only game that sold more than College Football 25 was Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It's in a whole different genre of gaming. They outsold 2K. Salute to everybody tuning in, making your way in. Imagine taking that success, attempting to recreate it in the version of college basketball, and then sweeping it under the rug for nobody to really see. A standalone title for College Football 25 just went crazy because college football has garnered a ton of popularity and folks have just been waiting on it. Chosen in the building. Oh, Newport News. Appreciate the love from Newport News, Terrence. And here we are, 2K getting leaked, which we're gonna review the article and talk about all the details behind the article. Join is just insane. I guess the college license company said, no. You want to play games with us? 2K is going behind the scenes. They had to go through a whole formal bid and a formal process to submit that bid to make a game for college hoops. Norfolk, VA, appreciate it, John. Thank you for coming through. 2K said, nah, man, we skipping the whole middleman. We larger than life. We don't follow the rules. We're skipping the whole middleman. We're going directly to the conferences and asking them to stall off on your recommendation, college licensing company. We don't want them. We don't want the conferences to agree with giving EA the license, the exclusive license to make a college basketball game, even though they had to go through a whole process, a formal process to submit their bids and stand in front of a college licensing committee, which those bids went under review, and that process lasted months. Meanwhile, 2K in the background like, man, F them. We're going straight to the conferences. The college licensing committee said, oh, you want to play games, huh? How about we leak your whole proposal to us so this way the conferences know why we didn't give you 2K the bid? The college license, with the conferences knowing how 2K was intending to approach this whole video game for college hoops, of course the conferences weren't going to agree. And I'm going to share everything with you guys here in this live stream as soon as we load up. Yes, it's definitely a Vince Carter jersey. Yep. What up, John? Please be sure to drop that like when you get in. Waiting for more folks to tune in so that way we could get on over into this article and start showing you guys how shiesty 2K can be. The same way in which they finesse so many 2K players out of a bag each and every annual cycle. That seem like it's just a lack of ethics. That's the same practice that they have behind the scenes. Like I said, you ever wonder why there's been no competition for NBA 2K games over the years? Doesn't anybody ever wonder that? Tell me, in what avenue of business do you not have competitors? I got like 12 jerseys and Vince Carter, my favorite basketball player, and I don't even have his. Oh, you got to get on it. You got to get on it, man. That jersey hard. I hope that's Vince Carter. Yeah, it's Vince Carter. Yep. Man, oh man. This was huge. This was pause, by the way. I know y'all get excited. Uh but it gave me, because people have been asking me for years, why doesn't 2K have a competitor? All 2K needs is a competitor. And I'm like, well, they gotta be a lot of red tape behind the scenes, because who in their right mind wouldn't see success in the idea of creating a college hoops game? Who wouldn't see success in that? Make a half decent game is almost instant success, considering how long 2K's been dragging their feet and disappointing the player base. Folks will leave. It just got to be half decent. Folks will leave 2K if anything is just half decent, because 2K has at their best since the release of 2K21 up until 2K25, at their best, they've been subpar to mediocre in regards to gameplay. NBA 2K25 is like right there. They surrounded gameplay with amazing stuff, events, a rep grind, rewards. They thought that was going to cloud people's perspective on gameplay. Man, the gameplay is the core foundation of the game, period. You want to drag your feet on innovating gameplay, knowing that you have the potential to create amazingness, dragging your feet on that gameplay. EA stepped in, submitted a formal bid to the college licensing company, and won the bid. That's only the first step of the process. The college licensing company then recommends to these conferences which company should make the college basketball game. And they told them EA should make that college basketball game. $49 in the chat. 2K is trying to get a monopoly on basketball. That was my thought process as well, Reggie. Reggie, I got to get you a mod back. Hold on. I got to get you that mod back. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure that's on. Let me get in here so I can get you that mod back. If you guys don't know, my channel was hacked. It just happened this past week. So a lot of the mods, I had to replace a lot of the mods. What up, Tron in the building? What's good, brother? That is a moderator. Save. And blessings. What up? What up, ICJ? Alan Bass, what up? That was my thought process as well. 2K trying to monopolize basketball gaming, which they have. They've successfully done it. But I don't think a lot of people were aware of how they were doing that. The reason why I mentioned that 2K is a publicly traded company is because we have access to their earnings. It's public information, meaning that any other investors have access to the same information, and creating a basketball game looks like a successful investment opportunity. Do y'all get that, what I'm saying? So I'm like, why hasn't there been competition then? If there's so much success in basketball gaming, why hasn't there been competition? Well, we find out today. What up, old school? We find out today that 2K fights dirty behind the scenes. What do you think about my NBA conspiracy theory about the NBA telling 2K that they can't make a better basketball game than NBA 2K? It's not a conspiracy theory, it's facts. I'm the one who's been preaching about that for the longest time. Brian Mazik reported a long time ago when NBA Live was considering dropping a free-to-play game. NBA Live was considering dropping a free-to-play game for y'all. Free-to-play. Brian Mazik with Forbes reported that the NBA stepped in on 2K's behalf and said, you can't drop a free-to-play game. That's going to affect the sales for NBA 2K, in turn affect the relationship between 2K and the NBA. Shortly thereafter, the NBA Live basketball development team was disbanded, never to be heard from again. Up until not too long ago, when they dropped that teaser saying that they may be coming out with a basketball college game. We're still in the first step. It was only been with the recommendation. Only the recommendation from the college licensing committee was sent to the conferences. This is the catch here. The conferences understand that whoever decides, or whoever the committee would like to have develop this standalone college basketball game, the conferences know that they're going to take the reference from the committee and normally go with that, because the committee has to do an in-depth review of the bid that's been offered by gaming publishers. After the review is complete, which is a months-long process, they then recommend to the conferences who should make this college basketball game. They went through that process, formal process. EA won the bid. The recommendation was sent to the conferences. 2K knows they lost the bid and they didn't gain the approval from the college licensing committee. So they approached these conferences behind the scenes, behind the backs of the college licensing committee. There was an NDA involved. They weren't supposed to do that. So they were trying to influence it. 2K was trying to influence from this article, at least allegedly, I should say. 2K was trying to influence these conferences to stall or delay the acceptance of EA making the college basketball game. It just so happened that the college licensing committee found out about it. So to avoid the 2K's or the conferences falling for 2K finesse, they ended up sharing all the details about 2K's proposal and why they didn't win that bid for the college license. That's what we're getting into in this live stream. You guys see this stuff. If you haven't seen today's video, I just dropped it a little while ago, less than an hour ago. That's what I was thinking. Why would the NBA let 2K make a basketball game? He's financially dumb. 2K try to appeal. We're finna get into it, man. Let's talk about it. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this down right here. That's on. That's on. All right. We're here. Let me lower this light because this screen is so bright right now. I don't need that other light. Let's go into it. We'll talk about it. I just want to say this before we get into the article. You guys know college football was extremely successful. College football 25, extremely successful. The number one selling sports game, outselling NBA 2K games. College licensing wanted to recreate that for a basketball game and basketball players. 2K said, nah. They lost the bid. They said, nah. We don't take our L sitting down. 2K wanted to create a DLC while EA is proposing a standalone game, a full-fledged AAA title for college basketball, similar to college football. 2K said, nah, we'll just offer a DLC and charge their player base for this DLC, which we're going to get into in just a second, and have limited amount of teams and players. After it was only going to be up until the year 2030 that 2K would assess whether or not college basketball is significant enough. And there are numbers behind that assessment. They had to make about $3 million from the college basketball DLC that they were going to charge you guys for. And there needed to be like 50% approval rating that they will buy a standalone college basketball game when they send out community surveys. We're going to get into all of this. Man, oh man. Just good stuff. Just good stuff. Well, the appeal process is gone and over with, I imagine. After, who knows what 2K went to the conferences telling them? Hey, chill, don't give it to. I don't imagine they talk like that, like they're from the Lower East Side of New York. I don't imagine they have, but yo, chill, homie, don't give it to EA. Like, chill, B. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, bro. Trust me. We're the ones who make basketball games. Trust me. You don't want to give it to EA. Probably told them that alone. Hey, we got you. Give you something under the table. Don't worry about it. Or we'll work out some sort of plan. They were trying to finesse the allegedly, they were allegedly trying to finesse the conferences, and that didn't fare too well with the college licensing committee. So they in turn sent out another memo to the conferences sharing 2K's actual proposal and why they were denied, this bid to create the basketball game. It wasn't in the best interest of the conferences or the players. It was only in the best interest of 2K. So they exposed them completely, which is why we're going to get into this article right now. As soon as we hit 100, we're at 95 right now. 2K says dribbling cook. Steezo the God in the building. We always find a way. Why would 2K not try to get involved? Like any other business, there's cutthroat. Facts. It is cutthroat. And I get it. It is cutthroat. But there was a formal process for making this happen. And 2K submitted a subpar bid. We're gonna get into it. Let's pull up let me make sure I'm good here. Let me put that down. Let me get into this here. The fight is brewing over the future of college basketball video games. The college licensing company recommended EA Sports' proposal for an exclusive game, but 2K is still lobbying for its own version. Let's get to the nitty gritty. I want to get to the nitty gritty, man. This is it right here, what you guys are seeing on screen. We'll go over the whole article. July another because of a non-disclosure agreement. All right. Matter of fact, this helps put context. Many fans assume one of the companies who submitted a formal bid would be NBA 2K. And when the news was dropped from EA, this is when 2K sent out this sort of cryptic message. Young Soul sent out the initial message saying 2K should be making the college basketball game after EA announced that they will be pretty much making the game. 2K responded to this, and when does NBA 2K ever respond? It's usually like Mike Wang or somebody, but 2K ended up responding to this, saying the campus has been quiet for too long with a smirking emoji. Arrogant. $50 from Bama. EA already has a great alliance with the universities due to college football. They will eventually get all major college sports games published. 2K has no pull within college sports. 2K is getting a little taste of its own medicine. And don't it feel good, Bama? Thank you for the $50 super chat. Salute, Bama. Thank you. But don't it feel good that 2K could get a taste of their own medicine? Now, here we are. Imagine, you're trying to bring awareness to colleges and bring fans for college sports, and you saw that you're coming off the success of college football 25, and you want to recreate that success for basketball players, college basketball players, and college basketball schools. So, you send out this proposal to a bunch of publishers and ask, are you interested in making a college basketball game? We're looking for bum, bum, bum. We want to recreate this type of success. 2K says, I'll think about it, but this is what they basically, matter of fact, we'll read it because this is what was leaked. Because the college licensing committee didn't like that 2K was going behind their back after losing the bid and trying to stall off the EA game, the EA college sports game. It says here, 2K Sports proposed a non-exclusive model for a limited number of D1 basketball teams that will be a 5v5 tournament gameplay format integrated into its NBA 2K game, My Team Game Mode, via downloadable content, a DLC, a separate purchase in addition to the purchase of the NBA game. In regards to a standalone game, It says 2K would assess the viability of a standalone game, a standalone college basketball game that would be contingent on some measurable milestones for 2K28. So they were going to include this college basketball game, I guess, in 2K27. It says including DLC sales. So they were going to determine this in 2K28. I don't think they were going to say save it for 2K28. I think they would have had to measure this from 2K27. Anyway, it says including DLC sales had to meet / exceed $3 million. So what they'll probably sell you the game for $15. And then you see how that worked out for that gravity ball. Complete fail. But anyway, and have a 50% propensity to buy a full game from consumer surveys. Any commitment, this is 2K's proposal. Any commitment for a standalone college game will come at 2K's discretion after the assessment. Now, hear me out here, because this is the memo that the College Licensing Committee sent to conferences after they found out that 2K was going behind their back after losing the bid and trying to lobby to create their own version of college basketball. So the College Licensing Committee had to send out another memo to the conferences, and after they already sent those memos out saying that they recommend EA for the bid to create the game. They found out about 2K going behind their back and lobbying to create their own version. So they said, all right, we got you, 2K. Now let me send this memo out and let the conferences know what type of game you're trying to bring. Because of course the conference is going to say, well, that ain't going to help us none. Nothing like a standalone game, none that's going to meet the success of college football that happened instantly, instant success for college football. And it's almost like a slap in the face because there's just a gold mine. A standalone college basketball game is absolutely a gold mine. So Gaming Harvey says it feels good now, but it feels even greater if they capitalize on the opportunity they have on this moment. If I'm the NBA, I'm telling 2K, you better not release a full basketball simulation game. That's that it's kind of true. I was thinking that too. Like, I imagine the NBA is probably like, hold on, what does that mean for the NBA 2K, like the title NBA 2K? College hoop is going to affect the sales, whether it's released. It's going to affect the popularity. You know what I mean? And that's the relationship that the NBA has with 2K. One hand wash the other. They feed off of each other. So I get what y'all mean by that. And it's like, So considering that 2K Sports proposed this, well, they sent out this type of proposal for something that's half-stepped, nothing in comparison to what EA had proposed. EA proposing a full standalone game, incorporating every single player and every single team. 2K is like, nah, you got to see this too. Let me see what it says here, right here. It says here, this is how it was going to work. 2K prom right here, from right here on down. Yeah, y'all see that. It says 2K promised to assess the viability of a standalone game as early as 2030, which would be 2 years after a release of an EA game. So EA proposed for a 2028 release, which was already long enough. I know when 2K players found out about that, they was like, damn, we got to wait until 2028. Well, 2K was not even attempting to like consider the idea until it reached 2030. But not only that, it also proposed a limited number of teams. So it'll be after when it starts. If they were considering a standalone game in 2030, they would start with 16 total teams for men's and women's game in year one, 32 in year two, 32 teams in year two, and 68 in year three. So they had no intention. So by the year 2033, we would have a full college basketball game released by NBA 2K. I'd rather play college than NBA 2K. I don't blame y'all. I don't blame y'all not one bit. For those folks just tuning in, we'll talk about it some more. For the folks that are just tuning in, let me read this. But we're talking about the league. We need NBA Live 26. Well, that's not happening. I think NBA Live is in the, like, that's it. It's over. I don't know if that's ever going to come up again. I don't see NBA Live ever coming up again, especially now there's consideration for this college basketball game and how much hype there is behind it. 2K trying to Frank Lucas college basketball is wild. Yeah, they are. They are. That's what I saw too. It says as well that any commitment for a standalone college game will come at 2K's discretion after their assessment. And the criteria for their assessment had to do with DLC sales because they were going to charge us 2K players for a college basketball DLC, a separate charge. It says here, they were going to integrate college basketball in a 5v5 format into a My Team mode via downloadable content. A separate, man, that is so grimy. It was going to be a separate purchase in addition to the purchase of an NBA game, similar to what they did with that Gravity Ball stuff. 2K would assess the viability of a standalone college basketball game that would be contingent on some measurable milestones for 2K28, including DLC sales that had to meet or exceed $3 million and have 50% propensity to buy a full game from consumer surveys. Ooh-wee. It was going to be a My Team joint. What up, Prince Tay? What up, Jay Avenge? What's good, y'all? I'm from Kentucky. I'm tired of 2K and I'm quitting NBA 2K for college basketball. Well, you still got some time. College basketball is not set to release until 2028 from EA. Hopefully that is the case. As of right now, we're in the first stages, so it's only going to be a recommendation. We only at the recommendation stage. This is why this whole leak happened, is because the college licensing committee saw that NBA 2K broke the non-disclosure agreement, or allegedly broke the non-disclosure agreement, lobbying for their own version of a college basketball game. So they wanted to leak this proposal, which otherwise they weren't able to because of the NDA. All they were able to do was accept the formal bids from these publishers, but they couldn't influence the conferences. Meanwhile, 2K goes behind the scenes and attempts to influence the conferences, breaking the non-disclosure agreement. And that's when the college licensing committee decided, well, you want to break the non-disclosure agreement going behind our back and trying to lobby to create your own game? We'll share what you intend to create and show these conferences that it's not in their best interest to go with you to develop their game. Why would they have to wait up until the year 2033 to get a full game? That sounds insane. We're just coming off the success of college football. You think they have time to wait this amount of wait until the year 2033 to get their full game? That sounds insane. It's an NDA agreement between the college licensing committee because they had to submit proposals. So, they broke the agreement of not going out and sharing this information. That's so crazy. Yeah, he said 2033, I'm going to be 40. I know it's a while, but I think the idea is brilliant from 2K's perspective. It would have sold way better than Gravity Ball. I just don't know why they expect to win a bid with that offer. Thank you. I honestly, I don't even think it was brilliant. Honestly, let's pull up the numbers. Let me tell you why I don't think it was brilliant. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up right now. What is it under? I think I have my own folder here. Just gotta let this joint load up. No, it's back. It's under college. Didn't I put it under college? Nope. Screenshots. College basketball. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to show you why I don't think it was a good idea for 2K to approach it in this way. I'm going to pull it up right now. EA College Football outsold NBA 2K games. There's a sport outside of basketball that outsold NBA 2K games. The #1 selling sports title, period. EA sees this, I mean, 2K sees this and says, we'll just incorporate it into our game. There's no room to create a standalone basketball game. Standalone. Success is it's like it's sitting right in front of you. It's sitting, it actually outperformed your best performance, 2K. Up until 2K's best performance was in 2024. That was their absolute best selling performance. In college football, 25 outsold 2K. They had an even better performance. So if I'm looking at this and I'm 2K, I'm saying, whoa, man, we might need to make one of those. That's why I don't think it was in their best interest. Brilliant if they won the bid, meaning they would have prevented EA. Right. Absolutely right, Mud Dog. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like 2K was going into that bid, and at our discretion, considering we make $3 million off of our DLC that we intend to peddle to 2K players, if we make $3 million and we have a 50% propensity to buy a full game from consumer surveys, then we'll consider making a standalone game in 2030. And even when we make that standalone game, it'll only be half done with like 16 teams the first year, 32 teams the second year, 64 teams, something like that. Was it 64 teams? Let me double check. 68 teams in the third year. Half baked, half done. EA proposed that they would make a full standalone college game by the year 2028 with all players and all college teams. So I'm like, what? That's the hugest slap in the face. I still wouldn't buy that week DLC. That's how I feel. I ain't gonna front. I kind of feel that way as well. I felt like it was a slap in the face to colleges. You got colleges banking on this idea. College players happy. College players that will eventually end up in the NBA. You would think 2K would come with put their best proposal forward, submit their best formal bid. Negative, Kochi. That is not happening, man. That is not going down, man. I wouldn't trust 2K2 to be the company to make a college game. Yeah, absolute facts. Give me 1 second. How long am I at? Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. It's like you don't. The reason why I thought this was important is because us 2K players, we've been experiencing this high level of finesse for the longest time. And like the homie said earlier, he mentioned that it's good for 2K to get a taste of their own medicine, where people aren't just banking off of your success. Like there aren't yes men surrounding you. College knows their potential. The college licensing committee understood the potential because of the success that came from college football. They know what it's about. They didn't say, oh, 2K has the most success, they're the most popular, and let's give it to them. No. They said, "No, y'all want to play games with us? All right, you try to go behind our backs. All right, let's let the conferences know exactly what game you intend to make." It would have been as successful as the dodgeball BS they try to put out. And I ain't gonna front. A lot of people like that dodgeball. I'm sure 2K hears all the negativity about 2K and probably thinks putting on a college basketball game would take too many resources away from their NBA game. I could see that being the case. Let me ask you guys something. How many of you think 2K is capable of creating the best basketball game ever? The thing with me is that I believe they're capable, like they're more than capable. They've had the blueprint already. We were already there. Why they switched gameplay up so much, I have no idea. Just poor direction from Mike Wang, in my opinion, poor guidance. They work, from what I hear, the development team works tremendous amounts of hours, especially during the weeks leading up to the release of a new 2K game. So I believe they have the smarts, the resources, money. They have all the tools necessary to create greatness, but they settle for subpar or mediocre in regards to gameplay. They don't settle when they're trying to finesse us. They don't settle in monetization. They always finding new ways to monetize. Cap breakers, level skips. So like they're constantly incorporating innovative ways to monetize into the game, but in regards to gameplay, it regresses in my opinion. How, when, where, and why? They have potential to make the best game, but they are lazy because they know people are going to buy 2K regardless. That's what I mean. They're like dragging their feet on creating greatness. And I'm like, set that bar super high already. We are on next gen consoles, man. We are in next gen. No League Pass standard edition for me. Yes, he said, wait, you bold? Yes, I am bold. I am bold. They think they're untouchable, and that's what this is about, is that 2K actually does think they're untouchable. And now EA, if EA does indeed get this licensing from the conferences, as of right now, we're in the beginning stages where the college licensing committee only submitted the recommendation for EA to make the standalone game for college hoops. If the conferences accept this, 2K finally gets competition. Considering how they've treated their player base, I imagine a lot of creators are going to say, well, we're going to give it a shot. Don't get me wrong. It ain't like any game. It ain't like EA or any other publisher could release any type of basketball game and think they're going to compete with 2K. You have to bring it. Like, you have to bring it. And you should know the type of competition that you're going up against in 2K. 2K's number one line item expense is marketing. They're geniuses at marketing. They'll shut you down solely based off marketing. So if they want to even compete, they got to bring something that'll transition players from the 2K franchise. Unfortunately, NBA Live was unable to make that happen. What NBA Live would have been today, who knows? Who knows? We should take that same approach as players in the community and save our bread. I wish players will unite. I wish sports gamers will unite, but sports gamers, we're a different breed, yeah? We're just a different breed. A lot of sports gamers only play sports games. Don't explore any other genre of gaming. A lot of us. We stay in our little sports gaming bubble. It's the only thing we play. We don't care about spending money on 2K. It's the only video game we play. That's what a lot of, not me personally, I play a lot of different games, but I just mean to say that's how sports gamers feel. A lot of sports gamers feel that way. What are you telling me, Spend? I don't even dig that deep. Who cares about this type of news and stuff? Like, get out of here. It's a video game in sports. I live vicariously through 2K. I wanted to be an NBA player, but couldn't make it because I'm 4'6". So now I'm dunking on everything. Yet alone, 2K community is cooked anyways. I already told myself I'm not getting 2K26. Well, I'm definitely getting 2K26 myself. I'm going to get Live 19 and just not look back. Mm. We could definitely wish. We could definitely wish for Live. I have about 1,700 hours on 2K. Is basically all I play. You see what I'm saying? I probably got very similar amount of hours. I think I've been logging hours, even though I took a lot of time off playing the game. I have been logging hours into 2K recently. As a matter of fact, on a much brighter note, I just spun the wheel for 500K this morning. So I'm looking forward to creating a new lockdown build, because I haven't had an opportunity to play official lock. All City Tron is going to send me his build when he gets home tonight. He gets home a little later. So I'm looking forward to making a new lockdown build, see what that looks like. Live 19 is still dope to this day. You know, when Live 19 dropped, I surely didn't appreciate it. I thought it was weird moving. I thought it animated weird. It felt off to me. The way the camera zoomed out when you were driving in felt off to me, I think it was. But that was before we had NBA 2K21 through 25. That was before that. You know, we're coming off of my legend run in NBA 2K20, so we're big hype. Loving NBA 2K20 and 19. The only reason we didn't really like 20 was mainly because it was a copy and paste of 19. That was like the biggest argument. So Live 19 drops, you're like, man, get out of here. I'm sticking with 2K. But then 2K on next gen consoles, complete fail. EA will have microtransactions in college basketball. It's tough to say. It's tough to say. I imagine EA would. EA is known for microtransactions. EA is known for being just as aggressive with monetization. That's what I hear from Madden players and FIFA players or FC players. I imagine they would incorporate monetization into this game. How aggressive it'll be, I'm uncertain. I think the first year, maybe the first 3 years will be light. Something light, not too heavy that turns players off. It's not going to be heavily monetized. Nothing. It'll be nothing like 2K. Try that 5 too. Defender build. 2K can take a couple things from Live 19, like the defensive mechanics. You have to match the way the offense player is moving, and you have a small window to steal the ball or force a lockup. That's interesting. That's interesting. I was losing the rock earlier today, got graded out of a game, and I was just like, this is insane. This man just reached a half an hour early. I'm watching him lunge toward me, but my player can't react. Everything happens in slow motion. Instead of penalizing the dude for hitting the steal button and getting this lunge animation, it locks me into him and then forces me to turn the rock over. It was just silly stuff. If you think EA is looking at the 2K blueprint, then I don't know what to tell y'all. Do you think EA will have microtransactions? We got that. During the good days, 2K became my favorite game to play. It was for me too. I strongly believe that if we just get a street ball type of game that has the same mechanics as 2K, the same features as 2K, creating your my player, and then maybe, going through street ball tournaments and rising up in your city, and then representing your city and then traveling to different cities to street ball and going to popular parks in different cities. I could see that being its own game. We don't need an NBA license, man. 5v5 tournaments, 3v3, 1v1s. But you need to be able to customize your player. Motion needs to be fluid, fast-paced, very similar. They need to create a very similar game to 2K, just much more improved movement, shooting, finishing, all that good stuff. Remember when your teammate grade used to drop for spamming the steal button? The good old days. The leak is what we were talking about in this video. Salute to everybody who's tuning in. If you guys don't know, I'll go through it one more time. We'll talk about it. I'll give you guys some context. I dropped the video on this just a second ago, but I'll help give you guys some context. After the success of College Football 25, the college licensing company wanted to recreate that success for college basketball. So they sent out proposals to a bunch of publishers, 2K being one of them, EA being one of them. 3 of the publishers ended up submitting formal bids. Those formal bids went in front of a committee. They had to be negotiated, and then the committee ends up deciding who wins the bid. They then send that recommendation over to, college conferences. It just so happened that there's a non-disclosure agreement during this whole process. It just so happened that the college licensing committee found out that after they sent their recommendation for EA to make the college basketball game, they found out 2K was going directly to the colleges avoiding the college licensing committee and trying to persuade them to delay or interrupt EA making a college basketball game. They broke the non-disclosure agreement, so the college licensing company leaked their proposal. They sent the memo to these same conferences that 2K was trying to persuade. There's what the memo ended up saying, which we'll go into right now. On July 11th, CLC sent another note to conferences. Because of a non-disclosure agreement, CLC wrote it had not been able to share the details of 2K's proposal. The college licensing company is looking out for the best interests of these colleges and these college players. They want something that's going to bring fans to the sport, bring popularity to the sport. 2K's proposal was this. 2K Sports proposed a non-exclusive model for a limited number of D1 basketball teams that will be a 5v5 tournament gameplay format integrated into NBA 2K game My Team mode via downloadable content. It was going to be a DLC, a separate purchase in addition to the purchase of the NBA game. They were going to charge you for a DLC that was incorporated into an NBA 2K game. In regards to like a standalone title, like a college football 25, maybe a college basketball 25, there's what 2K proposed to the college licensing committee, which is why they didn't approve 2K or recommend 2K to the conferences. These are 2K's thoughts and proposal on a standalone game. 2K would assess the viability of a standalone college basketball game that would be contingent on some measurable milestones for 2K28. Including DLC sales had to meet/exceed $3 million. What they charged you guys for a college basketball DLC had to exceed $3 million, and it also had to have a 50% propensity to buy a full game from consumer surveys. So they were going to send out a bunch of surveys, ask you guys, how likely is it that you would consider purchasing a standalone college basketball game? If that number exceeded 50%, then by the year 2030, they would consider making a standalone basketball game. It says any commitment for a standalone college game will come at 2K's discretion after their assessment and the criteria for meeting that assessment. The college licensing company sent this out to the conferences only after 2K broke the non-disclosure agreement. As it says at the top, they had to send out another note to conferences because of a non-disclosure agreement. They hadn't been able to share the details of 2K's proposal prior. Only after 2K broke the non-disclosure agreement were they able to send the secondary memo sharing the details, so this way these conferences won't be persuaded by 2K's finesse trying to go behind the committee's back and persuade them not to go with EA. Just pure wildness. Man, oh man. If that's not business at its finest, if that doesn't tell you what 2K is and you know how we as consumers experience or consume 2K in the first place, is right up 2K's alley. That's exactly what I think a lot of 2K players just through gameplay feel 2K would do. Just through gameplay alone. Because we're getting subpar to mediocre gameplay when we know 2K can deliver the absolute best. But monetization is top notch. So much so that when you load up 2K25, they put a buy menu pop up at the screen and then try to finesse you by stalling. The menu goes away. You think you could hit X to go into my career or whatever you want to go to, whatever game mode you want to go to. And then another pop-up pops up right at that moment. You end up hitting into the pop-up and then it loads for a while because by that time you're like, what the hell, back, or some. You can't even back out instantly because it takes a while to load. And then boom, you're on the screen for another purchase. And in fact, the good homie OG, if I'm not mistaken, was telling me that he ended up getting finessed into buying one of those things because of the way in which they pop up. So it starts the second you load up 2K monetization. Jake said, I always misclick on that. 2K is always on the okie dokie. There goes OG there. OG, am I right about that? Let me know. OG's right there. I could have sworn OG told me that. I keep picturing Mike Wang in a boat in Thailand. Mike Wang chilling, bro. We haven't heard from Mike Wang in the year 2025, y'all. He hasn't sent out anything. any responses to gameplay or feedback, nothing. Make sure you misclick on that like button. Yeah, where hit that like button, y'all. If you're new here, hit the like button. It helps. Yeah. Yeah. See, OG said, yes, sir. Now I have a password to make purchases because it happened to him. What will really get 2K in hot water is these publishers posting about this, like Vice and the New York Times. And you would think, maybe this is why 2K thinks they're on top of the world. Because the New York Times, Vice, and the Washington Post already released headline articles talking poorly about 2K. And it seems to have no effect on 2K. So maybe this is why 2K said, oh, college licensing committee, you think you could stop us? Let me go holler at them. They go directly to the conferences and say, hey, chill. This is allegedly, by the way, but this has been reported on Extra Points by Matt Brown. Extra Points are the people who actually broke the story in the first place of a college basketball game coming out. It's crazy how 2K was better before the next gen consoles. Makes no sense. Do you guys remember that before next gen consoles, they were saying something along the lines of is going to have more capabilities, so they should be able to provide better with next gen consoles. It was one of the main reasons why we didn't have the city on current gen. They just couldn't do it. Meanwhile, gameplay continued to regress. 2K26 about to be another can of bounce that. Making a new college edition with the payment instead of giving it for free for testing to see what it's like is diabolical. I agree. Now, like I said before, I believe these are the sales for college best-selling sports video games in 2024. College football outsold 2K25, NBA 2K24. College football was the number one selling sports title, period. So when I'm thinking of, being 2K and getting a proposal from the college licensing, a formal proposal to create a basketball game, and then I look at the one game that sold more than the game that I create, I would say, well, then, we got the opportunity. There's our bag. There's our opportunity to get in on college basketball. Of course, players are going to buy it because we're the ones who make basketball simulation games. 2K said, nah. We're going to incorporate it as a DLC into our game. We're not going to create a standalone game, even though the one game that outsold them was college football. Makes zero sense to me. If I knew that there was an opportunity to make that happen, and I have all the tools at my disposal to make that happen, all the scanning tools, the pro play tools, why not? I don't understand that. True Hall of Fame Bills with a $20 super chat said, I'm almost at 20K, so I drop a 20 ball. Salute. Yeah, go check out True Hall of Fame Bills. Appreciate you, True. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Much love, much respect. Good luck on that 20K, man. Yeah, go check them out. Always dropping gems. 2K not being in the college basketball market for the last 10 years is a giant fail by them already. Say it again. Say it again. Absolute facts. Why wouldn't you be in the college basketball market as it is? 2K and FIFA sell way more global. Big W Donos, big facts. EA era coming back. We could only hope. I gotta keep it a buck with y'all. I ain't a fan of EA either. I imagine I'm just gonna have two companies to talk about heavy monetization. I ain't a fan of how EA treats their players either. But one thing they did right was college football. I didn't play it, but from, the reviews, it was just fun. The sales speak for itself. Does it have a sustainable factor to it? Maybe not so much. But they made it happen. Yeah, EA does their own ish. They ain't gonna do right by the consumer. I feel the same way. Yeah, I don't see EA doing right either. They just probably wouldn't do right. So we'll probably end up in the same situation, but the difference here, this is why I love the idea, is because it keeps everybody on their toes. EA is going to be forced to create a game that at the very least gets some of 2K's player base over there. And then 2K, they're greedy and selfish as hell. They're definitely not going to want to lose any players to EA. So it kind of, just like that swift kick in the behind that says, make something happen. Stop giving mediocre. Stop giving subpar. Develop what you're known to develop. Develop what the player base knows you're capable of developing. I've never been on a 2K game that asks me to get off the game so many times. I've never been on any video game that consistently error coded me. I don't have patience for no other video game like I give 2K. No other video game. If I've downloaded any other video game and got error coded 5% of the amount of times that 2K error codes me, that joint would have been deleted and refunded. 2K told me this year, let's see if we're being nice. Being nice, probably about 100 times. Get up off the game, boy. Here's an error code for you. Back to the main screen. Back back to the home screen for you, boy. Say I'm capping. Say that ain't so. Competition breeds success, and consumers are the winners. Thank you. Do you think 2K should remove bans for people quitting? It's tough because we've been a part of the era where folks quit and then we play against AIs and it's like, ugh. I don't mind if they remove bans for people quitting. If they quit out, it could be bad, bro. It could ruin the game. This is the tough part, because if you don't have that as a thing, then people, they got no balls. Like, folks got no more balls. They call them Freddy the Ballless. They ain't got no balls no more. No dignity. They quitting. So if we don't have no type of penalty to curb quitters, it's going to lead to frustration for people who don't quit. So, it's tough. I don't want to play against AIs. I don't go online to play an online game mode to play against AIs. So, my answer to that is, if folks are quitting out, they only have 2 or 3 players left, then the other team should retain the option to be able to get out of this game. They signed up to play online against other online players. We should retain an option to, get out of this game as well. Or even if one of our teammates get error coded or something like that, 2K acts like they don't have error codes. Are they handing out bans? Like, you guys, they got so many error codes that count as quitting. Or the join back on the fly. That's another option. Have them be able to join back. If we lose a player, they can load back up right into the game they left. %. What else they need to add back? What else would they be able to do other than just update their roster? Yeah, I feel that, Jake. I feel that's actually a W. I would love to see the join back option. Let me see. Instead of banning, they should take. Ooh, they can't do that though. They can't do that. Maybe like a penalty or fine on VC, but they can't do that because people pay IRL money for that. That'd be wild. Imagine you take my VC because I got error coded. 2K already has a basketball game. Why would they break up their player base by creating a new basketball IP? As I stated, EA offered exclusivity, which means 2K has to match and pay more than the normal fee. Uh, the reason why, and I get what you're saying about creating another basketball IP, how it wouldn't be in the best interest for 2K, not necessarily, but what I mean to say is, I think this was like a different level. I think folks would have just because especially with rosters, you could actually play with your player in college. Imagine for a player, from a player's perspective, you could be on the college game, and then like IRL college players are evolving into the NBA, evolving their game and then advancing into the NBA. You could watch that happen and follow your college player from the college hoops game released by 2K into an NBA 2K game. That's just right off rip, right off the top of my head. Like, wouldn't that be dope? I don't think it'll necessarily split their base. Either way, it's all coming back to them anyway. But I do get what you're saying. I think this is a different level because the next college basketball game is almost a guaranteed success. It's not like before. Let me read this because it said here. Let me read this to you guys. One of the main reasons why they stopped. I'll read this off to you guys right now. It says, yeah, here we go. The gist was both 2K Sports and EA Sports stopped making their college hoops games more than 15 years ago due to licensing concerns and lackluster sales. That wouldn't be a concern in this day and age, considering the success of college football. Players would be heavily anticipating a college release for basketball. He says, "City chill with all these facts." Yo, we on it. Hey, thank you, Stretch Big. Salute, Stretch Big. Appreciate you being here. If you get error coded, you should be able to join back. It's been a good time. 2K content is on the rise. If you're new, you're just tuning in, take a second and hit the like button because it helps the algorithm. Bama! Bama with a $200 super chat. Bama plays no games. Salute, Bama. Bama said, EA has the best shot to produce the best basketball game due to several programmers, devs, and producers at EA right now work at 2K. I talked about this in a video. It's absolute facts. And help make the best 2K games in history, including NBA 2K18. By the way, I don't believe NBA 2K18 is on that list for me, but it is facts. As soon as some folks had left, Scott O'Gallagher in particular, 2K has gone downhill. I haven't had to spend a dime on college football 2016. Oh, damn, what the hell? I just lost it. To enjoy it. So have faith. There you go. That's what's up, Bam. I appreciate you sharing that. Appreciate the $200 super chat. Salute. So fun, man. So fun. I love that stuff. Bama always getting the chat super lit. I hope they fix the AI in the rec. The AI plays stupid sometimes, and why are AI so different? How come one game you can get the most goated AI in the world? You ever got hit? Have you guys ever gotten like hit by the AI? Like damn, did I just get crossed over by the AI? Or did the AI just do that? Like, you ever had that happen? Did the AI just do that? One game, the AIs are super goated. In the very next game or another instance, the AIs are it's almost like there's no coding involved with them. I almost dropped my phone when Bama donated. Salute to Bama, man. Salute to Bama. Sorry, I can't donate. 2K took all my money for VC. 2K took everybody's money. 2K took everybody's money. But like I said earlier, on a much brighter note, I hit for 500K off the wheel. So have faith. I felt it coming, by the way. Pause. Bama with a $2 super chat said 2K18 was a typo. My bad. All right, good. Yeah, because I'm like, no. The worst 2Ks, in my opinion, it started with 2K18. 2K was able to flip that around. So I'm coming off a 2K16 legend run. 17 was all right, but it was a step back. These are my opinions. 17 was a step back at that time because that's how dope 16 was. So when 17 dropped, it felt like a step back, but in comparison to the games that we have now, it was definitely 10 steps up. Then you had 2K18 had the t-shirt creator, but nobody really liked 2K18. I myself didn't like 2K18. It was the blow by game. And then we sat through 2K18, 2K receiving a heavy negative response about the game, and 2K flipped it all around with 2K19. We got to see that happen. So I personally got to see that happen. They flipped everything around and dropped NBA 2K19, which was a dope experience for damn near everybody. Every year, 2K players are going to complain. That's a given. We're highly opinionated. We're highly enthusiastic about the game. We're going to complain. But that doesn't mean that we don't play the game. It's not like in these recent versions of 2K where all your friends are gone. You're like the only one on your friends list, you and maybe one other that are still playing the game. You're like, damn, I got to make some new friends, huh? Join the Discord, by the way, if you guys need players to run with. Just type !Discord and the link will come up. 33,000 members in our Discord. So I got to see them flip that around with 2K19. 2K20 hits the scene, and it's like a copy and paste of 2K19. So it wasn't received well initially, but the gameplay was up to par. We liked it. We enjoyed it. We had fun. 2K21 on current gen was dope. It wasn't until they released it on next gen that everything went downhill. It might have been dope and exciting during the first few weeks when you were getting dragged into contact dunks or you were contact dunking on everybody, but it got old very quick. I'm talking about dudes was sitting in the corner. Defenders were in the corner. I'm driving with my 6'8", the 6'8" everything build. By the way, the 6'8" could do everything. Driving with my 6'8" build, and it's dragging this dude into an automatic canned animation, a contact dunk. Now he's on the ground. He didn't even know what happened. He didn't even have his hands on the controller. He was facing the other way. Show me the way. We need a 2K wallet. We do need a 2K wallet. Why are we losing VC each and every year? 2K, that VC should transfer, period. The gameplay has been lacking on next gen. 2K21 next gen came out. Don't get it twisted. I remember all of it. 2K21 dropped on next gen, where the first experience on next gen consoles was complete choppiness, like we went back to PS2. Do y'all remember that? I don't have a short memory for this stuff because it was since 2K21 that I haven't been happy with my experience on 2K games. Coming off a legend run playing, you guys know what it takes to hit legend on them older 2Ks. You had to play your life away. But it wasn't a grind. It was exciting. It didn't feel like a grind. It was exciting to continue playing. 2K21 was on next gen was also the easiest game ever to hit legend. And I applauded that idea because I saw people struggling to even, get a mascot like in 2K20 to get to superstar level. So I applauded the idea that it gives everyone an opportunity to at very least say they have became a legend. I didn't want it to stay that way, of course, but this will never happen. But the simple solution for 2K is to roll out the game every other year. We'll make lots of time for refinement and change will drive hype. Possible. I hear that. I hear that a lot. I don't agree with that. 2K has unlimited resources. They don't lack for anything. More employees could make up for less time. So I just don't agree with it. I think they will give forth the same. I think we will receive the same exact thing, only every 2 years instead of every year. I wish that was the case. I'd love to be optimistic and think that was the case. Appreciate the sub, Edward. Facts. Why would people spend 400 to 500, even thousands on 2K just to start all over from the beginning on the next 2K to spend all that money all over again? Well, that's what happens. It's not why, it's what happens each and every year, and 2K breaks sales records each and every year. The last I checked, NBA 2K25 was already on par with the same sales numbers as 2K24. I played esports NHL. EA has such a small budget for their games. I wish 2K made NHL games. NFL 2K was one of the best football games ever. I would have loved to see them do that. They do it over and over again. My team makes them a lot. They have perfected the craft of monetizing their games. But the only problem is, if they did it like Call of Duty, they would have something here. But the only problem is that gameplay is regressing. So maybe not as much effort is put towards gameplay. But there's so much effort put into monetization. So more and more players are starting to realize it, as in other genres of gaming, they don't accept this stuff. Do you guys know that other genres of gaming would have shut 2K down ASAP? Just on release? Like, hell no. With the pop-up menu alone, 2K would have had to rethink their lives. Sports gamers, we hella forgiving. We don't pay attention to all of that stuff. It's just a minor inconvenience. Oh, my 1000th error code, minor inconvenience. That's nothing. I'll just go back to the main menu and load up again. Minor inconvenience. You know how many photos of launched controllers? I didn't even know controllers had wings. Launched broken controllers, smashed up controllers this year. How many of you guys, are we going to hit 200? How many of you guys broke your controller in NBA 2K25? Please put a 1 in the chat. Who dares to admit that they have a broken? I could say I did not break any controllers, only because the gameplay was so comical that I couldn't even get mad enough to break a controller. Did you ever see Osmond's Go rant? I did see Osmond Go's rant on 2K players. I had it at one time. I had it saved and recorded. Osmond Go said that 2K players or sports gamers are just stupid. That's how he phrased it. We're just stupid to spend this type of money. It's good for us that we spend this type of money on the game. We shouldn't be falling for this stuff in the first place, because gamers in other niches don't accept this stuff. It's unacceptable. The things that we accept, gamers in other niches of gaming do not accept it. Other genres of gaming, I should say. Stick drift cost me 2 to 3 controllers. Oh, we got a 1 in the chat. Thanks, Rhythm Shooting. Yeah. Call Me Bane said it's true. I laughed to keep from crying. Stick drift, that's it. Okay. I broke in my controller trying to time my jump shot. Oh, that's too funny. It's called gambling addiction. VC junkies. Nah, I never break my stuff. I invested in a heavy bag. Way better. A heavy bag. Word. Just get up and beat the heavy bag. I need to do that. See, that's something I would do. That's something I would do. After a 2K thing, just tee off on the heavy bag. Feeling like Moses. What up, man? We went over a lot today, a lot in today's video. I break my controller running on that damn treadmill. I forgot. I haven't done workouts in the Gatorade Park for so long on 2K that I forgot about the treadmill. I forgot what he was referring to. I've been no money spent for the last couple of years. Nice. My center build that I just created, I built that up, no money spent, which is pretty dope. I just won 500K off the spin the wheel this morning, which is pretty dope. So I'm looking forward to making a lockdown build. Bama with a $20 super chat said, unfortunately, NHL games will never have a budget like football, basketball, or baseball. Smaller customer market games have smaller budgets, although you can still get great smaller budget games from time to time. You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that, and I don't expect a small development team to be able to create an extremely successful sports game. I don't know if I've seen that happen, but some of the best games in gaming right now have been created by small development teams, tiny. development teams, people that just have a passion for gaming and are completely dedicated to creating a game that's amazing for players. No, not thinking of microtransactions or generating uh, or converting on in-game sales. None of that. They just have a passion. So the Expedition 33 is one of those games, by the way. They're out there. It's just having that passion to make that happen. There needs to be like the right guidance. And I'm not saying that Mike Wang in particular is guiding them wrong. Maybe his hands are tied. Maybe marketing gets to him and said, well, you need to make sure that this happens. Or Take Two says you need to make sure that this is incorporated and we need to make certain that we exceed these amount of sales. Crackdown was one of my favorite games. I remember back in the day, I used to like the NHL games, but it was way back in the day. I tried fairly recently, maybe within the last year, I tried to download an NHL game and I had no idea what I was doing. So I just deleted it within the hour. I think it was free, so I tried it. Sony and Xbox love 2Ks because they make just as much money off broken control. Unfortunately, sports gamers are stuck in their gaming bubble. Yep, that's exactly what Osmond Gold said. Sports gamers are stuck in their own little gaming bubble. It's what we do. But if you expand outward, if you do take a second and expand outward, you see how other games monetize. Not to say that other developers don't monetize just as aggressively, but they get penalized for it. The player base reacts and it costs them a lot of sales. For 2K, they just get more aggressive and make more money. Even with major news outlets like the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Vice exposing the aggression of their monetization. There are Call of Duty gamers who buy every skin. That's the thing. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I was one of those players who really enjoyed buying skins on Call of Duty when I played it. I was fairly new to Warzone. I played it maybe for about a year or two, and I enjoyed it, man. I never felt like I was spending money on those skins because the gameplay was so dope. Oh, I could get this gun with this skin. Oh, let me go test that out. But that's when you have a good game in front of you, a game that makes you forget what's going on when you spend that money. 2K is not that game, especially 2K25. It is just not that game. In fact, you spend money on 2K and then while you're playing it, you're like, what the F did I just spend money on? 2K like, F you, pay me. Do you think Mike Wang ghost watch your video? I don't know. I'm sure by now, considering that all the major hitters in the 2K community know who I am, it's possible that Mike Wang knows of me, I imagine. How much they talk, I don't know if they, I don't think I'm on their radar. 2K got too comfortable in the early days and they had something to prove. When that's what I'm talking about. When 2K has something to prove, whoo, watch out. Because that creativity is through the roof. Damn near perfection. Just like everyone, when you have something to prove, you put your best foot forward. But when you get comfortable, you get ahead of yourself. And then they kind of gave this like drip effect where it's just like, a trickle of advancement from year to year, a trickle of improvement from year to year. Won't be on Twitter leaking leaking this release. We've seen the last of him, to be honest. They lured me in the Nikki. Just got here. What I missed? What up, Alpha Male? We were talking a lot about the leak details in regards to the non-disclosure agreement. You might have to rewind the stream. We talked in great detail about it, but we just pretty much kicking it right now, talking about everything. I'm responding to the chat, seeing what they have, and We're just on it. But it's definitely been interesting to see how 2K handled this stuff. So that way, if 2K players get a better understanding of how 2K conducts business outside of 2K, you're like, hold on. Y'all really are trying to finesse us in game. That pop-up menu, as soon as you load up the game, that joy is intentional. Yeah, it's intentional. Engagement optimized matchmaking is intentional. There's a reason why the scores are so close. 2K found out, and this was through a study done from like 1 million players, a crazy amount of games from 1 million players. A study at UCLA, if I'm not mistaken, it was UCLA. They found out that when the scores are too far apart at the end of a game, whether you're winning or losing, you're more inclined to log off the game. Engagement optimized matchmaking incorporated into NBA 2K25 is one of the main reasons why a lot of scores are closer than they used to be. What this means is that, if you're winning by 50 points, then you get your fill of 2K, you're likely to log off. If you're losing by 50 points, you're like, F this, I'm logging off. I'm not finna lose every game by 50 points. F this, I'm logging off. The study found out that players just don't, it's not beneficial for the gaming company. The gaming company, they found out that players just disengage, winning or losing by too much. Ironically, in NBA 2K25, the scores are a lot closer. Players stay on longer when the scores are closer because you don't get the feel either way. You don't get the negative feeling of losing by so much. If you say lose by 10, you're like, oh, all right, maybe I can get him on the next game. Or if you win by 10, you feel like, damn, I want to continue to do better. I want to continue to play and start killing. And then that never happens. It's all a video game. I don't know why they even lean towards realism, just making the game not even fun. You should do crazy stuff that you can't do in real life because it's a game. What's crazy is that, if you just match this gameplay versus the older gameplay, you're like, impossible you would even go this direction. Why would you even attempt to go this direction, slowing the pace of gameplay? Back then, when the game was super fast paced in comparison to what it is now, we were calling for it to be faster back then. I just believe they will give us a short trailer on the 17th. It's not going to show much, though. Not fun at all. Well, we are an hour and a half in. I wanted to fill you guys in. I had dropped a video on this whole topic. It's on my channel that I talked about during this live stream in case you guys want to see it. The link to the full article is there. NBA 2K's non-disclosure agreement getting leaked. The proposal that they offered to the college licensing committee was exposed by the college licensing committee to the conferences of these colleges because 2K tried to go behind the scenes, breaking the non-disclosure agreement and persuade the conferences to not go with EA. Bama with a $10 super chat said, not gonna lie, I jump on Call of Duty when I get angry playing 2K. I laugh every time I sneak up and kick someone in the balls with Butthead. I just imagine it being Mike Wang. Appreciate the $10 super chat, Bama. Facts. I need something to vent my frustrations that I get on 2K. I'm looking forward to making a new build, a lockdown build, with that 500K that I won off the wheel. And we'll see where it goes with there. I haven't got a chance to play a lockdown build on Xbox. We'll see what happens. People couldn't keep up with the left-right cheese, so they slowed the game down to try and balance it, in my opinion. I could see that. The left-right cheese was a problem. I didn't like the left-right cheese, but when we played with when I had good teammates, we weren't nearly as concerned with the left-right cheese. We knew how to play it. But a lot of other people didn't know how to play it. It was always a problem. Defense always had an issue with keeping up with the offense. But this is where my issue comes in with NBA 2K25, because as we all see, the defense seems improved, but that seems more based on the restrictions they placed on offense, not improved defense. So considering next year is supposed to have 2K19 vibes, at least that's what was said by 2K insider Uncle Demi. If we do have 2K19 vibes, 2K19 had some of the best shooters I have ever seen on any 2K game, period. We had some of the best shooters. May not have been me in particular, but folks that were running with us were some of the best shooters I have ever seen. If 2K26 is going to have those type of vibes, then maybe at the very least we'll be able to get back to fun, not slow and clunky, less frustrations, more fun. Get back to it. I want to break ankles like AI again, F realism. There were instances where ankle breakers weren't like because I remember instances in gameplay where I was like, come on, man, my ankles are getting broken for anything. Like they'll do one little move and your ankles getting broken. It used to be instant greens. But hopefully I get it. I get how it could be fun. Hopefully, they could just advance from where we was, because they were just learning about ankle breakers. So maybe now with advanced gameplay and more capabilities for next gen consoles, they can make it more realistic. Ankle breakers more realistic to when they should or shouldn't happen. Because I love to see ankle breakers. So those wow moments, dunking, blocks, everything, every aspect of the game has the capacity to have a wow moment. Whether you get a really good swap block or a really good dunk animation, hit a fading three, ankle breaker breaking down your defender. We need to bring those wow moments back. Sometimes you play 2K and you could almost feel your teammates falling asleep just because you want to set up a dribble combination. I'm not talking about those folks who dribble the clock away. I'm just talking about setting up a simple dribble combination. It does seem harder. You remember there used to be automatic greens? Ankle breakers used to give you automatic greens back in the day. If you shot off an ankle breaker, it was damn near an automatic green. In NBA 2K25, it's damn near an automatic miss. That shot boost after breakers need to come back. Yeah, facts, Hypnix. All right, y'all. That is a wrap for me. Salute to Bama for all the super chats. Thank you so much. Everybody else who participated as well. Really appreciate you guys. If you guys want to see the standalone video, it's on my channel right now on this topic that we were discussing during this live stream. All the information is there. I uploaded it just before this live stream. If you guys are tired of running with randoms, definitely type !Discord in this live stream chat. You can work your way onto the Rec Warriors. If you get on the Rec Warriors, you have a chance to run with me and the All City team. We'd love to see you out there. You can also subscribe to our Discord to get instant access to the Rec Warriors chat. Otherwise, you have to wait for the admin team, the All City admin team, to host tryouts. Either or, it's up to you guys. But there is an option there for you guys to get instant access by subscribing to our Discord. There was one more thing. Anyway, we'll leave it alone. Wishing you a safe and blessed rest of your night. I'll catch you guys on the next video or live stream. Easy, y'all. D. Reed, Dano, appreciate y'all.